I remember their laughter. Not the kind that cracks your eardrums, but the kind that tears your chest open. My mother's glass clinked against my father's. "Thanks for the wedding present," she said, and my sister threw her arms around me. The perfume was thick, cloying, poisonous. They laughed like thieves celebrating a flawless heist. I smiled back. That mattered. You can't let them see the crack. Not yet. Instead, I said softly, "Check your mail when you get home." That was 3 weeks ago. The lake house wasn't just a property. It was mine. I bought it when I was 28. My first real victory after scraping through years of freelance work and rejection. That cabin by the water was my sanctuary. My father had helped me hang the first wind chime. My mother chose the curtains for the guest room. My sister brought dates there, always calling it my brother's little retreat. I celebrated promotions on that deck. I cried over breakups there. They all knew what that place meant, which made selling it feel like a personal betrayal. It began with a call from a county office. "Mr. Hale, just confirming the transfer of the lake property title went through." The what? By the time I reached my lawyer, the sale was complete. My parents had been co-signers on the original deed, something I'd done years ago for inheritance convenience. My mistake. They'd used that technicality to sell the house and wire the money straight into my sister's wedding fund. $150,000 for a wedding I wasn't even invited to until the day before. When I confronted them, they didn't flinch. "It's family money," my mother said. "You'll buy another one," my father added. My sister smiled, adjusting her engagement ring. "Come on. It's not like you even go there much anymore." And they laughed. Again, that sound became fuel. Revenge doesn't begin with anger. It begins with silence. I spent that night parked outside the empty lot, staring at the lake under the moonlight, feeling the last thread of attachment leave my lungs. They had taken something sacred. I would return the favor, not in anger, but in quiet precision. The next morning, I called my lawyer, then my accountant, then my bank. No yelling, no threats, just patience. My parents had built their retirement on my success, joint ventures, investments under my name, tax shelters linked to my consulting firm. I was their silent safety net. Every major asset relied on my credit line or trust fund umbrella. Quietly, I began cutting threads. I removed my name from business filings, reclassified their accounts as inactive partners, redirected trust disbursements to a new entity I controlled. 12 days later, they didn't own what they thought they did. Meanwhile, my sister planned her fairy tale wedding. Custom invitations, imported flowers, a coastal venue. Every Instagram story was fuel to my fire. 2 weeks before the ceremony, I called a venue posing as a vendor to confirm payment. None had been made. The check from my parents had bounced. Accounts frozen. Pending investigation. Funny how that works. On the day of the wedding, I arrived in a gray suit, a quiet smile on my face. The chaos had already begun. Guests murmured outside, while staff locked the ballroom doors. The caterer refused service. The florist packed up the bouquets. My father's face was red as he yelled into static. My mother's eyes were brimming with tears. My sister stood in her gown, mascara streaked, whispering, "What's happening?" I approached calm, hands in pockets. "You said it was family money." I said, "I just took mine back." My father glared. "You ruined your sister's wedding." "No," I replied evenly. "You sold mine." Silence fell like a verdict. I turned to leave, then stopped and pulled my phone from my pocket. "Oh, right. You might want to check your mail." Courier envelopes had arrived that morning. Official notices from a financial institution confirming asset retractions, trust dissolution, and foreclosure warnings. They hadn't opened them yet, but soon they would. I walked out before another word was spoken. By the time I reached my car, the first call came through. Mom. I let it ring. As I drove past the lake that night, I rolled down the window. The water shimmered, dark and endless, reflecting the moon like glass. It didn't feel like loss anymore. It felt clean. People say revenge doesn't bring peace. They're wrong. It depends on how you define peace. Mine was quiet, like the lake at midnight, still, perfect,